the Tuesday to you, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Arrow Nicely News. Look, it's not all doom and gloom outside because we are going to make sure you see the sunshine through those clouds. Today is April 7th, 2020. I'm Lenny Hernandez, and where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Let's jump right into the news, shall we? So we all know that there's a lot of bad news happening out there in the world these days, and that's why we're doing this show. But it's very important for you to keep your head out of the sand and stay informed on what's happening. That's why we'd like to bring in Katie Morton. She's a licensed mental health professional and internet sensation because she has some very good thoughts on how to handle the news. Take it away, Katie.
Half hour in the morning, half hour in the early evening, and then I'm done. I pull the plug on it. I don't watch any more news or stuff about COVID-19. Instead, I try to watch a goofy show, a cooking show. I found out the other day that they have like a Lego Mania show where people make big Lego things, and I was like, this is totally silly, and I'm going to watch that. If I find myself feeling like I don't know what else, this is too much, I feel overwhelmed. That's why the next step I take is a distract. I pulled out old coloring books. I haven't touched. I had them in my house because my friends' kids come over a lot. I pulled those out and colored myself. I try to call a friend or family member. I watch my silly shows. I've organized my closet. I mean, there's all sorts of random things we can do. If you like to do any knitting, one of my friends has knitted a bunch of people things that she's going to drop by houses later. Any way that you can do things to help soothe and distract from the bombardment of information, I think is really helpful.
So once we are informed, we can then turn our attention to something else. And what is that something else today? Well, it comes in the form of two Hollywood legends, Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner. So they have adapted their weekly lunch meets into meeting over the internet. And I'll tell you, Mel has some interesting ideas on how to pass the time during this quarantine.
I am not watching the news, and I'm telling everybody, watch old black and white movies. By the way, I have a great suggestion. It's called Young Frankenstein. It'll do you a little good, and it'll do me a lot of good.
Our stalwart leader and CEO Stephanie Harris held a weekly town hall meeting where she informed employees and residents on how the coronavirus is progressing and how we as a company are adapting to things to keep our residents safe. Transparency builds trust is a core value here at Arrow Senior Living, so she gives details on the decisions being made by Arrow on what we are doing to make sure that the residents are staying entertained and engaged during this time. She also gives a shout out to our little show.
There's a lot to celebrate out there. So Lenny we call him the face of Arrow because he's on a lot of our training videos for our employees and leads a lot of content for us. But he's hosting various stories about our communities, just the different stories that show you really what's great about what's fun and great that's going on in our communities today.
So thank you very much, Stephanie. And whenever I see you, and it's safe, side hug, side hug, side hug, side hug, side hug, side hug. She even shared messages from the residents about how they're feeling and what they're grateful for, including this resident from the Hudson Grand Senior Living in Hudson, Ohio, who shared a very heartfelt sign to her employees. She wanted to express her gratitude for how they're taking care of them day in and day out during this trying time. We also would like to take a moment out of our time to express our gratitude to all of the employees out there. You guys are the most caring, dedicated, selfless people in the world, and we are very appreciative of the things that you guys do for us day in and day out, especially now during this pandemic. So thank you all so much. You are the Nicely News. Keep doing what you guys are doing because you are making us proud and you are making everyone around you proud, including our residents. So thank you very much. And that'll do it for today's episode of Arrow Nicely News. I'm feeling outstanding, refreshed, and renewed. My cup is filled to the brim with good vibes, and I'm throwing it straight back into y'all's gorgeous faces. As always, I'm loves you, hugs, and kisses, and we'll see you tomorrow.